Evening guys, hope everyone's doing well. And tonight I thought I'd enjoy a bowl of Gawith St James Flake. Been a long time since I enjoyed this. I spoke about it briefly on my live last night. It's a fantastic blend, but personally I overlook it quite often. I reach for other blends. I always forget why until I've just lit this pipe. And the tobacco is about, I'd say, 2 or 3 years old at least in the jar. And it's still soaking wet. It is definitely true what they say about a lot of Gawith blends. They come wet and they need a long time to dry. I think I'll let this sit out for about 20 minutes. Probably could have done with an hour at least. But anyway, still fantastic blend. For those of you that aren't aware, it is a Virginia Perique. Some people really think it's up there with the best. I do agree to some extent. It's definitely a fantastic quality blend. It's a blend of tobacco that I would say it's a bit punchier than some others. Some others, I'd say, American Virginia Periques that I've had recently, in the bulk forms, they're not as punchy as this, the Perique in this. But apart from that, it's just an all-round great blend. We touched on briefly last night about the tin art, about how the old Gawith tins were just fantastic. The St James Flake one, the tin art isn't fantastic. It's quite nice, bright colours. It's got a plain tin, but it's a simple tin, but it works. I don't think I've got the tin to hand, but my favourite tin is the full Virginia Flake tin. The art and that's really nice. You have the Sherlock Holmes with the classic Sherlock Holmes pipe, and it's kind of like the sun. It's kind of really bright, powerful, nice art. And the reason we were talking about the tin art is but in today's world, it's such a shame because you have certain countries that are going that kind of army green, where they're getting rid of and I would say, especially for cigars, like mainly I'd say Cuban cigars where the brands are very historic, some of them 100, 200 years old, and the artwork on the boxes are original. So then that just to go to a kind of a army green plain boxes that just simply say what it is a real shame. And the point of that is, if you've seen the new the new St Gawith tins and Gawith and Hogarth tins in the UK and most of Europe, the tins are plastered with warning stickers to the point to where you can barely tell what each blend is. Again, I don't have one to hand, but if you take this tin, you would have, I'd say, where the barcode serial number is, and below it would say St James Flake, and you could see the kind of the classic St James Flake and bit of Samuel Gawith bottom, and then the rest of the tin is plastered with warnings, and then so is the rest of the tin on the bottom and the outside. They got away with it for a while when these came in cardboard boxes, which was a fantastic way to get around the laws and rules. For those of you who don't know or hadn't got your hands on any tins from St Gawith prior to the change, which I believe was about 2 years ago, it came into effect. They used to come in boxes where the box would have the warning stickers on, and you'd open the box and you'd have a nice plain tin. It kind of saved the tin, but unfortunately that's no more. It's also, I've heard, again, it's been a while since I've actually ordered any tobacco from Samuel Gawith, Gavin Hogarth, to where I hear that the seals now are not very good. There's been a lot of talk about how they've kind of sealed it to where it comes off instantly. Not instantly, but there's no force required. There's kind of a bit of tape around it. Some people say it's to do with the new style of tins they've got. Some people say it's kind of just their processes. I read an article about how kind of Samuel Gawith came out and said they intend their tobacco to be smoked kind of when it's made. Kind of they don't intend it for aging. Pretty much saying that the tins are there to be opened and then you can jar it or just smoke from the tin. Which I kind of think is a bit of a shame because they must know that a lot of people cellar their blends, especially in today's age where laws and regulations and rules change every 10 minutes to where people are always building a cellar of their favourite blends. And this one, again, is a one I know that a lot of people are a big fan of. So yeah, don't really understand their point of view coming from there, but oh well. Yeah. I kind of mentioned at the start of the year, I believe, that I needed to really start to cellar more Samuel Gawith blends because I don't have a single tin of St James Flake. This tin's empty. My jar of it, I might have half a tin left, and that's about it. Which for a blend I really enjoy isn't really on. Basically, I should have at least 5 or 6 tins in the cellar. So ideally, I'm going to hopefully build up 4 or 5 tins over the next couple of months. Although some of you will know I'm fortunate enough to be going away in the summer from where I plan on stocking up on cigars a big time. That's what I always do when I go away, because you're allowed 50 cigars per person duty free. Not necessarily bought in duty free, but you can buy it in that country and bring it back into the UK tax free. Anything more than that you have to pay the tax on, but 50 and under you don't. And obviously with Cuban cigars being so expensive now in the UK, I always make sure I make the most of it and stock up when I can. So I'm putting my funds towards that now. But I would say actually I've been buying a lot less tobacco over the last 2 months. Kind of before Christmas and over Christmas I was buying a lot. Cellaring really hard on certain blends that I would say are in my top rotation. But yeah, that's I've kind of put the brake pedal on that. Trying to save. I'm trying to think smart, not just buying tobacco here and there to try, but trying to buy stuff that I know I like and enjoy to try to build up my cellar of those blends. But yeah, for those of you that haven't tried this blend, I would highly recommend it if you can get your hands on a tin. For those of you that are in the UK, it is extremely easy. I think most online shops will have them, and most local tobacconists will have this in stock. Whereas I know that for you guys, especially in the States, it is extremely hard to get your hands on. I know that Samuel Gawith and Gavin Hogarth blends, when they drop, they sell out same day. Not all of them, but I know St James Flake is one of those ones that goes first. But anyway, if you can, would highly recommend it. Again, assuming you're a fan of Virginia Periques, And I would also say, assuming you're a fan of slightly stronger Virginia Periques, this isn't kind of a punch in the mouth strong, but it's stronger than just much more brighter blends, I would say. But end of the day, when it comes to pipe tobacco, I am no expert. My palate is my palate. James Stumble always says kind of each to their own, and everyone has their own palates and tastes, and I 100% agree with him. What I like, you might not like. What you like, I might not like. And then you have people who will have similar palates and enjoy equally the same things. But that being said, kind of just a short one talking about the blend, and I suppose we touched a bit on kind of tins and the unfortunate way it seems that a lot of tin art is going, which I'm not a fan of, but I suppose if we can keep the tobacco, we can sacrifice the tins. But yeah, hope you guys have a great week. I'll catch you guys next one. Cheers.